6 News. This is 6 on your side.
And we start tonight with Jacksonville State's president calling on ALDOT to make some changes after a JSU student was hit by a car in a crosswalk last night.
Dr. Don Killingsworth saying there's already been 4 pedestrians hurt and 3 crashes this year on campus. He goes on to say the university has met with ALDOT, but we're told crash data does not warrant any additional precautions. He's also asking students to reach out to ALDOT. In response to that, ALDOT, the Alabama Department of Transportation, says crosswalks around JSU got upgrades a few years ago, and the crosswalks are marked with advanced warning signs and other devices. The agency says it will continue to work with the university. We'll keep you updated on this story as we learn more. And we just learned from Jacksonville's police chief that a speed sign was put up at the crosswalk today where Leah Tarvin was hit.
Investigators say Tarvin is still in critical condition here at UAB. They are still collecting information, trying to figure out what caused the accident and recreate it. As she recovers, her flowers and her picture have been placed near where Tarvin was hit. Our Bria Chapman in East Alabama tonight with new reaction from students and law enforcement.
Vehicles will stop, and as soon as you walk past them, they go immediately, whether there's more students waiting or not.
Jacksonville police say Leah Tarvin was leaving Brewer Hall using the crosswalk on Highway 21 when she was hit.
We arrived to find the victim laying in the roadway. EMS immediately start to treat her and assess her injuries. They determined that she needed to be life flighted out because of what they seen at the time to be severe injuries.
Tarvin was flown to UAB for further treatment, and students and JSU Police Chief Michael Barton say they've seen several close calls on campus, and this is an issue they've dealt with for years.
This semester and last semester, I've almost been hit myself. But there's another student that is in our classes. She was almost hit last Tuesday night in both directions.
There's 2 state highways, Highway 204 and Highway 21, that bisect the university. And so unfortunately, there have been individuals struck by vehicles before. One is too many.
And officers have been working since last night to determine what caused this accident.
Gathering information, such as video evidence, looking at cell phone information, information from the vehicle. We'll come in and do some diagramming to help us determine speed.
Chief Wood says they got an update this morning that the student was still in critical condition and doctors were working to determine the best treatment options. Bria Chapman, WBRC, Fox 6 News on your side.
Birmingham police now calling your attention, reminding you about 2 unsolved murders from almost 5 years ago. Police still looking for whoever shot and killed Stella Truitt and Anthony Shuford in their home on 30th Street in Inslee the day after Christmas 2017. If you know anything about this case, police are asking you to call them, or call Homicide Unit or Crime Stoppers right away. The city of Birmingham is suing a church-run development company for failing to complete a church building at Caraway and 12th Avenue North. The city gave the land to the company run by Trinity Christian Methodist Episcopal Church of Tarrant in 2014. But the building has been a shell for several years. The city is seeking the return of the property, which is just a couple of blocks from the Caraway Methodist Medical Center redevelopment and proposed amphitheater. We have an update now tonight on those Tuscaloosa County school buses that caught fire near Inglewood Elementary School.
As Brian Henry reports, school leaders tell us today this loss is not going to affect the process of getting your kids to school.
It could have been so much worse. School buses parked on the campus of Inglewood Elementary School, where hundreds of children attend school every day, according to Terry Brewer.
We're thankful that this happened, when our students were on campus. It was not, something that stemmed from the actual bus.
But thankfully, it happened at night after school hours, after the kids had been dropped off, when somehow power lines fell on the buses and ignited a fire that destroyed them.
Obviously, that's still under investigation for the final cause, but what it appears is that there was a blown transformer and a power line fire, and that's what led to the school buses catching on fire.
Terry Brewer says school district leaders moved quickly to replace the buses to make sure students got picked up on time Thursday morning. no hiccups.
We transport thousands of kids a day. So, we have a large fleet of buses. So there's going to be times that there's a bus that's pulled out of commission to be worked on for maintenance or whatnot. We have other buses that we can plug in. So no, there was no gap in transportation for those students. They were picked up and the day started as normal at Inglewood Elementary.
No injuries, no damage to Inglewood Elementary School. 2 buses up in smoke.
That was Brian Henry reporting. Students across the country are struggling now to boost their ACT scores. Alabama scores sitting just below the national average right now. State School Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey says all Alabama high school students are required to take the exam even if they don't plan to go to college, adding they do have plans in the works to boost scores.
Where we see schools doing a very good job of integrated in-school ACT prep, it does seem to be pushing those scores up. And so that's what we're encouraging high schools to look at right now as they build their schedule to include some ACT prep, ACT tutoring and mentoring as a part of the regular schedule.
ACT test. Students on 4 subjects, including English, math, reading, and science. Dr. Mackey says he is expecting to see higher scores across the state next year.
Tonight on your side with some inexpensive ways to keep your home warm this winter, and we promise at some point you're going to need this. Cool weather is coming, and crack filler like this is one example. Cahaba Heights Hardware says you need to seal up any holes in your home, especially around air conditioning lines, and there's plenty of tools you can buy yourself.
So some of the easiest things you can do, you can put window film on and get that taken care of. That's really easy to do. You just tape it around the window and hit it with a hairdryer. That works really good. Also, you got little foam weather stripping. Just make sure your doors and windows are sealed.
And with the temperatures we've been having so far, you may have another week or 2 at least to get that house prepared. To weather and Wes, a perfect segue because Wes, we're seeing 80 degrees behind you for tomorrow. Nothing like cool weather out there.
It's amazing. I mean, what do you do with this weather, Wes?
We're trying to keep the cool air in the house right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the opposite. But yeah, the temperatures are running well above average. And you look at this 7-day forecast, and we're still talking some 80s in the next week. The average high, 69 degrees, well above the normal or average for this time of the year, but warm spells like this in November, seen it many times. This is something that we deal with many times. We call it that trick me fall period, right? But looking at next week, we could see a little bit of rain by Thursday. Of course, we're watching this weekend. Let's get into it here because Saturday, I think we're going to see some pockets of heavier rain across parts of our area, but dry for this evening. You can see through 7, 8 o'clock, those temperatures there falling into the 60s, winds out of the east to southeast direction. It was kind of windy today. That breeze does come back during the day tomorrow, but the afternoon, nice 70-degree temperatures again. You can see that big warm-up. We'll have a couple of spots where we get close to 80. Could have a little bit of fog around in a few spots in the morning. I think that breeze will help us out. Notice the wind, again, it could gust over 15 miles per hour. Probably not the best rake the leaves day tomorrow. Even Saturday is going to be kind of windy as that system moves in. Here it is, what we're going to be tracking here, a line of rain and storms. Tomorrow, there's a risk that there could be some severe weather out of this for places like Tyler, Texas, over towards Shreveport. Well west of us, it looks like for tomorrow. But once this reaches us on Saturday, notice as it moves in, it starts to kind of slow down. And that's because the main upper support with this is going to move off to the north, and that just kind of leaves this boundary just kind of stalled out here across Alabama. So we'll start out with this line really packing a punch as it moves into West Alabama as far as the rain amounts. We'll see some pockets of heavier rain. Then as this gets closer to Birmingham and continues to slow down there by midday, I think we'll get some of this rain by noon. Places like Clanton, Centerville, Birmingham, Bessemer, I think Shelby County as well, Hayden, north to Coleman. And then as this moves into East Alabama, see what we're talking about, it starts to kind of thin out. But we'll still get some scattered showers that track across the state, looks like during the evening hours on Saturday. Most of what we see across East Alabama is going to be scattered showers. This will really be weakening by the time it reaches us around Gadsden, Anniston, Piedmont, Jacksonville. But it looks like Saturday night and into Sunday morning, there still could be a couple of isolated showers. That system, again, it just kind of stalls out across the state. So we stay rather kind of soupy feeling with those temperatures during the day staying well above average. So we get into next week, temperatures really don't change. because we just don't have a strong enough push of cool air moving into Alabama. So we're watching a lot of systems in the tropics. We had Lisa yesterday. It's now a depression, far southwest Gulf. That's going to stay there. Not expecting that to move towards the Alabama Gulf Coast. We have Martin, which is extratropical, moving way out in the Atlantic. And then we have a disturbance right here that we need to watch, a non-tropical low. That is going to be moving back towards Florida. 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. But this system, as it drifts back to the west, I think around next Thursday, it could bring us a few showers. But as far as the forecast this weekend with that system on Saturday, at Baton Rouge and Starkville, most of the rain happening during the day. We'll see that wet weather more scattered during the evening hours. Looks dry for Election Day. Again, we'll be watching the long range with those temperatures staying above average. Lots of updates on the app. By the way, Weather Extra returns next week.
All right, Wes, well, thank you for joining us for this digital 6 p.m. newscast.
Our next newscast will be tonight after Game 5 of the World Series. Hope you'll join us, and we'll see you then.